What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review. Today, I'm hanging out with Chris from Crazy in the Brains. It's a band that we discovered via the live stream. They did a wonderful cover of that. Is it called "I'm a Punk Rocker"?
Punk rocker.
Punk Rocker. The song that Iggy Pop did. It was recently in that Superman movie. Uh, yeah, dude, that's interesting. And then I just got an email one day about some new music coming out. And I was like, dude, this is rad. So we're hanging out talking today. How you been, man?
I'm great. I'm doing very good. How are you doing?
Oh man, I'm all things considered, man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I got a lot of stuff going on that's awesome. So
Cool.
I'm doing better than the state of our country, I guess, right? But I'm personally doing awesome. So
Okay. That's cool. Good to hear.
so okay, I want to ask, why did you cover that song? Because that song's not an old song. That's the first
Mm.
thing I'd like to know. What made you want to cover that particular track?
I always loved it. The original version, the well, it's actually not the original version, but the most popular version, aside from our version, the teddy bears with Iggy. I just love that song. I found out about it in high school. I always thought it was really cool, and you know the chorus, "I'm a punk rocker, yes I am." Um, it just always felt really powerful, and I thought it could be interpreted in many different ways, and that's why we decided to play the song in the style that we did, because I always felt like punk was a lot deeper than some people realize, and it's not really about um, or specific style of dress or musical restriction. I always felt like punk was more than that. So yeah, the song always meant a lot to me, and just decided to cover it. Um,
I agree with your comments on it. Uh,
yeah,
Punk rock is definitely deeper than a dress code or a fast three chord song or whatever. Most people that I've met that are entrenched in this as we are, this, I mean, I don't think it something that I decided. I think it just kind of found me and took me and kind of drug me along,
yeah.
right? So, I didn't realize that you said that the Iggy Pop version is not the original version of that song.
No, it's actually, so the teddy bears have a version without Iggy, um, and
Oh,
that exists. But that might have got pulled from the internet at this point, because the Iggy one sort of took over, and then yeah, now we have our version. Um, it's a great song. Like I think that song's one of those songs that kind of transcends genres and timelines. And it keeps getting new life. Like every
I mean that's said very well. I agree with that. I heard your version of it first. Actually, I didn't even know it was a cover song. When somebody had me play it on the stream, I was like, "Oh, that was cool, man!" And somebody was like, "Yeah, that's a great cover," and I was like, "Cover? That's a cover song?" I was, because y'all did a very good job, and the music video is fantastic as well. So
Yeah, I added my own lyrics. I do that every time I cover a song. I like to add my own lyrics, so we put our own twist on the song and kind of add to the legacy. It was really cool that Iggy continues to show love for it too. Me and gave his stamp of approval. And I mean, that's kind of the greatest thing in the world.
dude, it really is. That's awesome.
Mhm.
That's awesome. So, kind of tell me about your band. Like, when did you guys start playing? Because I'm relatively new to your music. That happens a lot here. I get to talk to a lot of people, and a lot of them I know some songs, but I don't necessarily know the history of the band. So, how long have you guys been playing, and where are you from exactly?
I'm from New Jersey. I was born and raised in New Jersey. I've been playing music for like over 10 years. And the name that I came up with, this name, Crazy in the Brains, as sort of just a kind of channel to do some solo music, because I was in punk bands, school and whatnot, but those all kind of like evaporated, and people went on to become normal humans, and I was still very invested in the punk thing, so I wanted to music, so I created this persona, Crazy in the Brains, and it's pretty much been evolving consistently ever since. So um, the lineup that I have right now is fairly new. It's probably like this, I don't even know, like the eighth version of configurations of the band. But this has been like kind of the coolest era yet. It's me, my homie Ernest, who's been with me for a bunch of years now on guitar. My boy Rob on bass, Zach on drums. We have Anya playing saxophone and Gayla on guitar as well. We're based in New York, I would say, but I live in New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, super East Coast influence. I came up playing squats and parties and in the Lower East Side and the open mic scene in the Lower East Side and Tompkins Square Park, playing shows there and just kind of absorbing the Lower East Side culture and the punk history that lives there, and yeah, it's been an awesome ride, and it continues to evolve. Which has always been my goal, is to never really like commit to one identity musically, or stylistically, and it's been super rewarding to do it that way, and it's kind of not really limit myself by any type of rule book.
Absolutely. You don't want to become stagnant, man. That gets boring.
Yep.
Uh, some of my favorite bands in the world. I mean, dude, look, some of my favorite bands are consistent throughout their entire career with their sound, and they just kind of, work within these parameters. And I really love that. Consistency is great. But some of my absolute favorite artists of all time, bro, every album is just completely different. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a
me
smart way to
too.
do it.
Like the Ramones were incredible, and I feel like they were able to like do one thing really well. Like Motorhead is like that,
Dude, shout out Motorhead.
yeah, the best. But then it's like I really loved and still love like bands like Bad Brains, and like The Clash and Beastie Boys and some of those classic punk bands that did step out of the framework or the boundaries of what's considered punk, and I've always loved that, um, artists like Basquiat and Keith Haring, those are like visual artists that meant a lot to me, and I try to incorporate all of that into what I do.
I mean, dude, the Beastie Boys is an interesting one, man. I need to dive back into their catalog. I've never really been a big fan, but they keep being brought up by people that I respect and admire. Like they consistently brought up by people that I like, and I'm like, man, maybe I just
Yeah.
missed something, and I'm okay with that. Dude, I am who I am. I like what I like, but I've always wanted to just continuously expand my personal palette, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. My favorite band is Rancid. I didn't even like the Clash until 18 months ago because I just never heard the right songs, and I just was like, I didn't care. I wasn't trying to. I wasn't really worried about it. Honestly, it actually happened by accident. But now I really enjoy quite a bit of their music, and you know, based on that experience, I'm like, man, I need to just start going back to bands I just never really paid a lot of attention to, because I'm probably missing a lot of great art and a lot of great words, and that's important to soak that in, at least to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Beastie Boys are very East Coast, and I'm like a fanatic over East Coast culture. But that being said, I feel like there's something for everyone in what they do. Also, not everything is for everyone. I don't know, but like they meant a lot to me. East Coast music and culture has always meant a lot to me. But at the same time, he brought up Rancid. Like I love and was inspired by so much West Coast punk, um, especially Rancid. Like Rancid was one of the first punk bands I heard as a kid. Um, I'm kind of like I kind of like treat music almost like with this academic approach, where like I'm like really obsessed with like just studying and finding out about everything everything old, everything I can get. I just bought an album yesterday. It ended up kind of not being that but I'm glad I bought it. It was like this random techno, like Mexican techno from the 80s.
Yo, that's awesome. Man,
That
you
is
never know what you might get inspired by.
exactly. I like the album. For me, it's like, oh, the album cover looked cool. I'm like, yo, I want to check this out. So many bands I got into just because I like the album cover. You know, like the Casualties were a New York City.
Dude,
I literally like was like 13, like made my way over to Generation Records in New York City, and like I was just, you know, just picking up anything that looked cool, and I picked up diehards, and I'm like, whoa, these guys look crazy. I didn't know anything about the band. I didn't realize, you know, once I listened to it and I fell in love with them, I'm like, oh wait, this band is local. I can see this band like next week, you know. But it's like just being willing to experiment and just try out any music that vaguely seems interesting, you know. Rancid and so many West Coast bands I found that way, you know.
I mean, that's the beauty of, well, first off, it's one of the things about being a young person specifically. I'm not a young person anymore, but I remember being just the desire to find new music. I constantly wanted, I didn't care. I just wanted, if it was good, I wanted to hear it. And there's a lot of stuff that was popular that I didn't necessarily like, but I bought it all. I mean, I tried all of it. I listened to all of it. I had Korn CDs, I had Limp Bizkit CDs, I've had Marilyn Manson CDs. I don't listen to any of that music, but I tried it. I tried all of it, man. Uh,
Yeah,
you're
me too. That was me with like emo. Like emo was pretty huge, and like I was trying to get into some of it when it was coming out. You know, some of it I did like, but not all of it was like my thing. But like even today, man, like everything new, I'm following it. Like I need to be up on like all the newest music because I'm just like there's so much of it I love. And then if you know if you don't like it, cool, but at least you gave it a shot. You know, I learned from a lot of music that I don't like too. You know, like I kind of pull inspiration from things I like and stuff that doesn't resonate with me.
well, I mean,
That's the
if you take music that you don't really care for, like as a whole, like let's say that you got an album by whatever band or artist or whatever, and you don't like the whole album, there's probably going to be like little parts in there that you're like, man, that was really cool though. Like I bet I can incorporate that into my music, and then it's a completely different sound at that point. So I totally understand that.
yeah.
And your love for the East Coast is awesome. You know, I've only been up there once. I went up to New York recently, and it was, you know, I haven't traveled a lot, but
Mm.
I loved it, dude. I can't wait to be back up there, man. I like walked around, took the subway, just like it was just so much stuff to do. Like I was like, man, I would never be bored in this place. Like I would probably be overworked. I would just constantly be working and stuff. I'm doing that now, but it was a beautiful city, man. I loved it. You know, some griminess that I was able to witness as well, which I kind of appreciate being from a big city myself. Uh, but
Yeah,
I understand that feeling, man. I love where I'm from, and I there's a lot of music that I'll have that most people that are up in the East Coast won't, and I'm sure that there's tons of stuff you'll have and have experienced that I'll never hear of, which kind of unfortunate. It's kind of cool too.
that's one of the great things about social media, which there's a lot of negatives to social media, but one of the great things is being able to just immediately share your perspective with people from other parts of the country, other parts of the world, you know, like, cause, yeah, like the East Coast has a lot of super vibrant, unique qualities, and there's art that comes out of here that really just couldn't happen anywhere else. And you know, the same goes for the West Coast or different parts of the world. You know, and it's like something about sharing an authentically like true perspective relative to where you're from. You know, is is pretty awesome, and it's cool to be able to share that so immediately with social media.
Yeah, there's a lot of negativity with social media, but you're right. There's all. I mean, look, dude, the pendulum swings both ways.
Yeah.
So you know, with every bit of negativity, there's going to be the polar opposite of that, and so
Yep.
just try to, you know,
Yeah.
submerge myself within the positive parts of all of it, and try to come out as unscathed as possible.
It's like Prince, like Prince had a quote. It was like, use the technology, don't get used by it. So I try to be really disciplined on how I use social media, and because it's so easy to get sucked in and just doom scroll, and just, it's like, why did I pick this thing up? I had an intention here, but I got sucked into some other nonsense. So it's real important to be, for me at least, to be disciplined on how I use it. But if when I stick to that discipline, which I do, it's great, because I get to connect with people from all over the world, and like I get to share my story with them, and they could share theirs with me, which is crazy because like, you read up on like punk history, and it's like, wow, people would book tours, like pulling numbers out of the phone book, and like sending mail, like physical mail, and like using regular paper maps. It's like, oh my god, like the level of like commitment it took back in the day, and sure, like just like strength and willpower is actually is so impressive. And you look at how we can do it today. It's like, you gotta like be grateful for it all.
The fact that any tours happened in the late 70s and early 80s is by punk rock bands specifically is
Yeah,
kind of a minor miracle, man. It's insane, man, for
it's,
sure.
it's literally,
Uh Dude, shout out Prince too, man. I
yeah,
I love Prince, dude. Like whenever 'cause I own a small record store, and people are always asking like, "Hey, do you have like other stuff besides punk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got another room that's like other music." And there's so much Prince stuff in there. They're like, "Oh, you must really be a fan." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, dude. Like he's my Michael Jackson. Like everybody likes Michael Jackson. I like Prince. I mean, Michael Jackson's got some good music, but like I prefer Prince. I think Prince spoke to me as a person. Like he had an attitude similar to mine. He was far better musician, of course, but like man, I felt like I could have hung out with that guy. He'd have been cool. Like,
he's amazing. I love Prince. Yeah, incredible guitar player and songwriter, and just genius, all around genius.
what are some other musicians outside the punk rock realm that I don't know if inspires right? Just some guys that you listen to that you like that are not necessarily punk.
Um, I like a lot of hip hop and rap. That was like my first music that really was mine. So like Outkast and Busta Rhymes and Kendrick Lamar. I like the Fugees were a big band for me, because they're from New Jersey, so like I got put onto them like right away. Lauryn Hill and the Fugees. Um, who else? A lot of like singer songwriter type music. My mom grew up. Well, I grew up with listening to my mom's music, and she really loved Tracy Chapman and Bob
Mhm.
Dylan and Alanis Morissette, and some of that '90s stuff was big for me. Still is big for me. I love a lot of pop music, like current pop music, like Billie Eilish and Charlie XCX, and I love so much music. The garage rock from the early 2000s, like the Strokes and the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, all that stuff is super inspiring to me.
Do you like the Hives?
I love the Hives.
Dude, that band's so good. Dude, Tracy Chapman, bangers, dude. Alanis Morissette, I'm actually doing a video on Jagged Little Pill at some point because I
Yeah,
think that that's one of the most punk rock records that wasn't a punk rock record. Like
so good.
I still own that. I still like it. It's people are like, you like that album? Heck yeah, dude, it's so good, bro.
I was just literally 2 nights ago. I was watching her unplugged performance from the '90s, and she plays pretty much that whole album. She's insane. Like that album's amazing. Like that was one of the first CDs I had. Someone just bought it for me, like when I was like super young, and like I love it to this day. She's crazy good. It's kind of like that album is the thing, though. Like she did other music, but I feel like that album was like super special. Jagged Little Pill.
Yeah, well, that's I mean, that's her. That's her. that is her record. I mean, like, and most people would give anything to have that in their life. And you know, she was able to have. I mean, it was the first time I heard a woman talking like that on a record. Like she was saying like
Yep.
fairly graphic, gnarly stuff as like a 12-year-old. I'm going, what does that even mean? And but I felt it in my bones. I'm like, man, she is pissed at something, dude. I'm like, I like this. And as I grew up, I understood the lyrics more. But as a young person, that album spoke to a young angry kid, which is pretty amazing.
The drummer was Taylor Hawkins for a while. Yeah.
Dude, I heard that on a documentary. That's crazy.
He was her drummer until he got scooped up by the Foo Fighters. Crazy.
That is a weird little connection there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love all that stuff. I honestly, I really like Jewel.
Jewel's tight.
Like some of
like
those
Fiona Apple.
Fiona Apple's cool. Getting a little later, like 2000s era. I really love Regina Spektor.
Yes, dude, she was so good, bro.
I know her. I don't know her personally, but like I've met her, and I know a lot of people in her world because I used to do open mics at the Sidewalk Cafe, and that's the same club that she started at. So like her husband, awesome, who's an artist, his name is Only Son, and a lot of people that played in her band and in her world, like I became friends with. When that club closed down, I played one of the shows, and then she was like one of the final acts. So she played in the Lower East Side at Sidewalk Cafe. Her music, I really like storytelling. That's like my type. That's my genre. Like that's my flavor of songwriting. I really like personal storytelling. Bob Dylan and that whole like folk movement, big for me. So yeah, vulnerable, intimate music.
Within every genre of music, period. Like my favorite artists within every genre are exactly what you're describing. I like the people that tell the best stories. Hip hop, I like it. Punk, I like it. Like all of it. It's there's a lot of like common ground within our tastes, I think. But
yeah,
dude, Regina Spektor is an interesting one because I would never have discovered her if it wasn't for another punk rocker, man. I had this friend named Cadillac James when I lived in Austin, and we were a mess, dude. Like we had a lot of like narcotic issues. And one day I'm at his house and we're like just like 2 days into a bender, man, and we're just out of there. And he goes into his bedroom for like an hour, and I'm just sitting on his couch and I'm just like, what is he doing in there? And then I was like, maybe he's asleep. And I'm like, there's no way he's asleep. Like based on what we were doing, there's no way he was asleep. And out of nowhere, dude, this music starts playing incredibly loud. And then he comes running out of his room with an acoustic guitar, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs, playing Regina Spektor songs as he's playing like the CD in his room.
Yeah, man.
And I was laughing so hard that I was like, dude, whatever this is, I love it now. And then the next day or whatever, he's like, hey, it was this. And I'm like, this is not what I thought you were listening to. That's awesome. And, became a fan after that. But shout out Cadillac James. Dude's great.
Did you ever into Kimya Dawson or the Moldy Peaches?
I don't know them. What's Moldy Peaches? I can remember that, but the other one I probably could not.
Kimya Dawson is a solo artist, but she was in the Moldy Peaches, and they both come from that same scene that Regina Spektor came from. It veers off into a little bit more like abstract, kind of like Velvet Underground, kind of Wesley Willis type.
Oh, shout out Wesley Willis, bro.
Yeah, but if you like Regina Spektor, you might like Kimya Dawson or the Moldy Peaches, but it is a little bit different. I love them all.
I'm gonna listen to that today. I can assure you of that. I've got some zine work to do, so I got time to like play music while I type.
Let me know what you think, because
I will, dude. I will absolutely. I don't know why this dude popped in my head, but have you ever heard of a guy named Scott H. Byram out of Austin?
Oh, it sounds familiar. What about them? Like,
He plays he's called the Dirty Old One Man Band, and he has like a little kick drum, and he plays like a bunch of stuff, harmonica, guitar, sings, little kick drum. But my old punk band would play with him occasionally. And it was just such a random pairing, but it worked so well because like his personality and his ethos was so very clearly punk rock that it worked. And I had like 7 or 8 of his CDs. I lost everything in a flood a few years back, but I used to have a bunch of his CDs. That guy was awesome, but he's a really great storyteller, and he was a truck driver for a while. So his music is haunting. It's interesting, man. You should check him out if you get a chance. That's another guy. That's a guy I'd like to hear your opinion on. A lot of lo-fi recordings. Yeah,
I love that stuff. Yeah,
he was rad, man. So tell me about the new project you've got going on right now. What have you got coming out of the lab?
So we recorded a bunch of songs with Tim from Rancid. One of them is already out. It's called Fantasy. A new one is coming out tomorrow. No, or the day after tomorrow. It's called Disgusting. I'm not sure when this interview is gonna air, but
probably that day, honestly. So it'll probably, anybody's watching this, it's probably out by now.
Oh, cool! Right on.
Yeah, it'll be out in a couple of days.
So yeah, the next one is Disgusting. That's gonna be out on Hellcat Records, and we have a bunch more songs that we did with Tim that we're gonna put out. We're gonna get back into the studio with him and do some more songs. I also have a lot of songs that I made, recorded with Pete from the Bouncing Souls.
Yes.
Yeah, man. That we're putting out like just every month, just dropping songs. By the end of the year, this will all equate to a full album. And then, we just got like a lot of tours coming up, touring with the Casualties, dropping music videos for every song. I mean, I'm very hyped on making music videos. I've been like,
heck yeah.
I'm really like, I like get charged up in that headspace of writing scripts and just making movies. So every song that we put out, we accompany it with a music video. So that's
awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool, man. I'm actually like really glad to have met you now at this point. Just listening to you talk, you're getting me excited to go do some stuff too. I mean, I'm very creative as well. I don't do the same things you do, but I'm very creative, and I'm working on some video essays and a possible documentary. So like you're making me want to like go work too. I'm like, yeah, dude, I need to get on top of it, man. That's cool that you're doing a bunch of music videos. I'm working on that as well with some stuff. I'm trying to get my feet into that door somehow. I think I've got what it takes. I am just one person, so things take a little longer with me, but
Yeah. I mean, it's like a lot of people think, like, people will say to me like, oh, like, they look at the punk rocker video and like, oh, you must have spent like thousands of dollars. You must have had a whole team. I'm like, we didn't. A lot of our videos are done like just on our own, like with me directing, my friend Dan or my friend Jack behind the lens, and like we all like edit together. And you don't have to spend a ton of money or need a massive team to do the things you want to do. Like you can, I mean, and when you get those resources, that's cool, because we've done it that way too. But don't let that shouldn't stop you from doing what you want to do. Like
not in 2025. No, sir.
Everybody's got a camera on their phone, and to be honest, like videos that we've put out, like some of that stuff is filmed on the phone. You just don't know. You just can't tell, because we're nice with the editing and just like really committing to and getting obsessed with what you love. You don't need every resource in the world to make it happen. Like once you get those things, that's cool. But to get it started, all you need is the commitment and the excitement and the enthusiasm.
Right. No, I mean the desire to do something, and then the first step are the most important parts, man.
Means yeah, I started playing shows before I even had more than 3 songs written, you know?
Dude, that's all. I mean, that's like, dude. I get asked all the time, how should I start a YouTube channel? Because I've been doing this for like 5 years now. I'm like, I don't know. You got a phone in your pocket? They're like, yeah. I'm like, go buy a $10 tripod, whatever it is you like, talk about it. I'm like, I don't know what else to tell you, man. It's real simple. My first videos were awful, dude. They're terrible, but I wouldn't be where I am now without those. Uh,
Totally.
you
Yeah,
know,
you can't be afraid to make mistakes because that's how you learn. That's how you get better, you know?
100%, 100%. How'd you link up with? I didn't even, and I think it was mentioned in an email. I just forgot that you linked up with Tim to record. How'd that even work out? You being on the East Coast, I guess he's kind of probably all out there fair bit of time.
Um, you know, it's always something I wanted to do. Um, so I put it out there in the universe, you know. I got friendly with Kevin. I'm friends with Kevin from Interrupters
Cool.
and Amy and the brothers. They've been like really cool to us. We love that band. And we got to meet them and play some shows with them. And Kevin mixed some songs for us. And from there, it kind of just like spiraled, you know. And all of a sudden, like now I'm friends with Tim Armstrong.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's a small world, dude. I've met a lot of people through just random, interactions.
Yeah, I think just doing the thing, you know. I meet a lot of people that I respect and admire, and I get to work with them, and it's super rewarding and cool. I I I I think really all it comes down to is just putting myself out there and like doing it. You know, I've been I'm out here. You know, I'm out here in the scene. Like I go to shows, I go to parties and events, I play shows. I'm invested into the culture. You know, so like eventually you just meet people that you vibe with and that you connect with and that you respect.
100%. What you just said, I'm gonna have to clip that out and make a short out of it because because you said you're like I go to parties, I go to shows, I play shows, I'm invested in the scene or culture, whatever was the word you used, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem with everywhere you go. If there's ever an issue, it's because people aren't doing that. Like you'll have people that play in bands but don't go to shows. I'm like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
But
yeah. You gotta love it.
right.
I think that's uh, there's a lot of sacrifice that has to be made, and there's a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears that come with it. But like if you truly love it, it's all worth it. Like it's all worth it. And I think you know you can't fake that if you're just trying to make connections via the internet and like and I mean that work that's can be effective sometimes, but you gotta be about it. You gotta be in the culture. You gotta be a part of it. You gotta give back to the thing that you want to give to um so yeah.
I mean, it's not just a spectator sport. You have to,
You gotta just
you know,
yeah. Do you know the band Horror?
I don't. It's just like HORROR
No,
horror.
actually they spell it H09909.
Oh, I actually have heard this band. I can't remember what they sound like, but yes, I know them because I remember that name being spelled that way.
Yeah, they're super cool. They're actually originally from New Jersey. I just went out to see them. They played in Queens. Like anytime that I like, whether I'm friends with them or not. I mean, I'm like friendly with them, but when my friends' bands come through, I go see them. And if there's bands around me that like I listen to, I go see them. Like I want to absorb every drop of the culture that I can. Like you said, it's not just about being a spectator. Uh, it's about being invested in giving something, nourishing the culture that you love.
Well, it's interesting. Like, I mean, I film a lot of shows. That's the thing I like to do. I like to go to shows and film them and get the sets up on my channel. I think that a lot of times you get like a slightly different version of a song when it's live. It's often quite a bit faster. But dude, like the other night, I was so like consumed with what I was doing with the show. I was like having a great time. I wasn't paying attention to the crowd, and I got like mollywopped twice, bro. Bad, dude. One of them hurt, and I was like, oh, I'm too old to be getting this close in, like in this much of the mix. You know, I got a bunch of kids at home. I'm like, dude, I can't be breaking my leg out here. When I was 20, it didn't matter, but it was a swift reminder of how old I am. I was like, my goodness, but it was a lot of fun. You got to get out there, man. There's nothing better than live music. Like
Yeah.
really, there's really not.
Oh yeah, man. I just we played Stokes for Summer with the Bouncing Souls, and I watched every band. H2O played, Dillinger 4, Lagwagon. There's this other band, Sprainer, that I never had heard of, but like seeing those bands live, like H2O is a band I've loved like forever, you know. Like
Yeah.
I got friendly with Toby, like pretty cool with him. He's a good dude, and but like even before like that was a thing, like if they came around, I would see that band. Same with Bouncing Souls, like you know, I'm friends with Pete now and Brian and Greg and George. Like it's crazy. They're just people I know. Like
That's so rad.
But like before all that, like you know, anytime they played in New York or New Jersey, I was at their shows. Like I loved that band. They were a band that were so accessible too. You know, like you could go to their shows and like see them hanging out the merch table, and I'm like, wait, these guys are on Conan O'Brien. Like, what the hell? They're like people in front of me, like that you could talk to and shake hands with. Like, that's one of the coolest things about punk. You know, if you show up, you know, you might actually get to interact with these people, and there's like that barricade is kind of lifted. You know, sometimes
that's been a common topic of conversation on this channel, is that like I think punk's the only genre that we could really do this. Like I live in Houston, man. Like I'm not on a coast. Like I'm able to be friends with so many people, dude. I got to interview Jesse Michaels in his apartment. Like I don't know anybody else that could say that. Like,
wow.
I know, dude, it was all because I had the courage to go try to meet him. It was scary. I'll be honest. I was like really intimidated because I was like, man, I don't want him to like think I suck and be like, dude, get out of my face, kid. You know? And but he was super nice, man. He was a really nice dude.
He's awesome.
But like, but there, what other genre of music where you're like, dude, a guy of that much importance, you can just like have an opportunity to talk and he's willing to talk. Like, you know, everybody's just people, right? But it's just harder to get in touch with other, you know, giant pop stars, bro. They're not trying to talk to their fans on a daily basis like that. I don't know, at least to me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess sometimes you can't, you know, but it's cool that it's a possibility. Like that was super inspiring when I was like in high school and like seeing all these punk bands and realizing early on, like, oh wait, I can meet these people, and a lot of these people have super encouraging things to say to like a teenager who's trying to start his own band. You know, I never really met like anybody I've met, even just like briefly, has always been cool. I know there's stories out there where like, you know, some of your heroes are like douchebags, and it is what it, you know, that's bound to happen. But I've never really had that experience, to be honest. Like everyone I've met and come across has been super cool, and I try to be the same way. You know, like to anyone who has any interest in what I'm doing, and people who find something to connect with or something that inspires them with my music, like I'm super accessible. I'm always talking to people, whether it's on social media or in real life. And people come to me and want to talk to me at shows, like that's some of the most rewarding moments of the night for me, to be honest. Like obviously the performance is everything, but I feel like I'm high after the show, you know, like I don't smoke, I don't do drugs or drink or anything, but like I totally feel like I'm high as hell after a show because I get to talk to people in these like micro bursts, and I get to hear about their lives and what punk meant to them or what my music meant to them. And I want to maintain that gratefulness, you know, throughout this journey.
Dude, I think that's great. I was a little surprised when I got an email to talk with you. I was like, dude, this is awesome because I've, as far as I've only seen you on a screen. I've only seen you in music videos and such. So I was like, oh, that's rad.
Yeah.
I've had people that I really look up to, and I'm like, hey, Ron Conflict is a great example. I meet this guy, and I'm like, oh, dude, that guy's rad. I'm like, what's up, dude? And I go to tell him my name, and he goes, I know you. And I was like, what? It like completely caught me off guard. It's just like punk rock as a pretty cool little ecosystem, man. It's shout out to all the dudes out there doing it that are nice to people, man. That's really great.
It matters, man.
It really does, dude. It really does matter. How did you stumble upon this? I don't know how old you are or anything. How'd you stumble upon punk?
I was mainly into rap. I started to hear like Blink-182 and things like that, like emo. And it was cool. Like I liked Blink-182 a lot. I still like Blink-182. They had a big influence on me, like deciding to give music a shot. But honestly, I didn't know any of that was punk. Like I didn't know what punk was really. I was like, to me, I was like, oh, this is music that's popular and it's different than rap. I'm kind of getting into it. But my friend's brother was a punk. He was older. He was a skinhead actually. He was like a skinhead punk, like crossover. And he burnt us a CD, and it had like a bunch of like legit punk bands, like it was like GBH and The Clash and Rancid and Operation Ivy and Bad Brains and stuff that you weren't seeing that on MTV or with. I had no like gateway to that like yet. He opened the door to like punk, like
Right.
Not to say Blink isn't punk, but you know what I'm getting at. Like,
no, but like there's a big blurry line there somewhere. It's like, do I think that they're a punk band today? No, but were they like a punk band when they put out Cheshire Cat? I think so, man. Dude Ranch was a great pop punk album.
It was like a different level of punk, and it was stuff that you couldn't really get access to on MTV,
Well, dude, they didn't put Charged Hair in like leather jackets with like a giant, I don't know, any kind of whatever filth patch on the back of it. That wasn't on television. It just wasn't.
Not until Good Charlotte.
Bro.
Good Charlotte he had the Liberty Spikes. But by the time Good Charlotte, when I found out about Good Charlotte, I had already found out about Rancid and GBH and The Clash and all that stuff. So like I got introduced to them later. But yeah, I got this CD and there was all these crazy bands and Rancid was out of all, I loved all the bands. But the first song on the album was Blood Clot by Rancid, and then it's all the like 5 or 6 more songs from Life Won't Wait. And that like it's over after that. Like I and that still to this day actually is my favorite Rancid album is Life Won't Wait.
So I have that on my throat tattooed, but I don't know if you can see it a little bit. Yeah. Dude, check this out. First off, I got a Rancid tattoo in the back of my head. I don't know, about 2-3 months ago. But check, if Life Won't Wait's that important to you, check this out. I just got this and I'm so jazzed, bro. Hold on. Fortunately, it's like right here where I can grab it real quick. There aren't many like records out there that like I don't spend a lot of time looking for albums. Like there's not a lot of stuff out there that I'm just like searching for, but this, I don't know if you can see this. It's a
the demos,
yeah, dude. And this isn't like the older pressing of it. This is a more modern one. But dude, I've been looking for this for so long. Shout out to my boy Kevin who saw this and sent me a link. He was like, "Hey, I think you're looking for this, right?" And I got to go play this record at a guy's house who I met through this channel. who has become one of my close friends, but was one of these guys that I looked up to for a bunch of years and admired, and we just happened upon each other and became friends. And I got to go listen to this with him in Austin. It was really, really cool, man. And
Is that that's a bootleg, right?
oh yeah, yeah. I don't, dude. It's the the little imprint that it's on is called R.I.P. Strummer Records. Like, dude, you know.
Yeah,
but
those demos are on YouTube.
Yeah, dude. I love them. I love them a lot. I like all that Tim Timebomb and Friends stuff that he did, man. I got a bunch of that stuff as well.
Yeah,
But
they were you know, Blink was kind of like they sort of like opened the door, but then or they kind of like nudged the door open, and then Rancid kind of kicked it down, you know, and then it was over, you know. Punk was everything after that. Like,
right.
I couldn't listen to probably for 3 to 4 years, like you know, all I was just everything was punk rock, you know. I had no time or space for anything but that. I had to hear every punk band that came out. I from the past to the present to the future. It was just everything punk rock, you know. And Rancid had a big part in that, and still does, you know.
Were you around for like cassette tapes, or was it all? Were you you're probably a little younger than I am. I'm 43, but
Okay. No, it was like mainly CDs, you know.
man, CDs, dude. I had a 90-minute tape in when I was like, I must have been 15 or so. And one side of it was "And Out Come the Wolves," and the other side was "Let's Go." And I mean, I had the CDs, but I burned that to on I recorded it onto a tape so I could take it with me everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, I listened to that thing until like the last few songs on each side were just like just wore out, bro. And I passed that tape along to some other friend of mine who passed it on to her cousin who became like a musician. And because he's told me, hey, it's because these tapes that you gave so and so, and I'm like, that's crazy. But yeah, it's a weird little universe, man. That's awesome. That's really cool, dude. So with this new recording or new project, I guess, because it's many recordings, but do you have any plans for a physical release, or are you doing just digital?
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be a 7-inch with some of the singles with Tim. As far as like the full album, we don't know yet because we're still like putting it together. But usually, historically, we've always put out some type of physical version of our albums. So I imagine we'll do like a vinyl or something like that, you know. But definitely more immediately, there's going to be a 7-inch with the Hellcat singles.
Oh
So
man, I hope I can get a hold of some of that. That's awesome. I physical media is so important right now. You know, I don't want to get like super political, but with the state of things right now, dude,
yeah,
having your stuff in your hands is getting more and more like it's urgent. You need to do it. You need to go out and buy it, hold it, own it.
yeah, man.
Like, you know,
I agree. I totally agree.
there's this thing happening with Amazon. Have you heard about this stuff where they're telling people like, I guess there's like a law. I don't know the details, but there's like a lawsuit where some people found out that, and I've known this, but if you buy a movie or an album on Amazon that you can stream at will or whatever, you don't actually own that. Like you only own the rights to play it, right? So they can just decide to take it. Like if let's say that they get pissed one day at a band you really like for whatever reason, they can just go, yeah, we don't want this on our platform anymore, and it's gone, even though you paid full price for it. And so I think they're fixing to start putting that a little more upfront instead of changing it to where you can download it and keep it forever. They're going to just change the contract to be more open about the fact that you don't actually own it, which I just think is insane. Like it's so crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, even like with social media platforms, like if you think about how much people have invested in these platforms, it's kind of crazy because at any moment they could just shut that off, right? And then you don't own those photos, you don't own those videos, they're gone, you know. And then your whole there's artists that have moved a lot of their real estate over to their own personal websites, and it's like, cool, we have all this that exists on these social media platforms, but if you really want to stay connected to us, more long-term type of way that's safer, go to our website. And
That's a
everything,
smart move.
it is, but it's not as convenient. So like, you know, I'm not even doing that right now. That is something I want to do though. I mean, honestly, I want to get to the point where I sell tickets to my shows straight through my own website. I don't want to deal with Ticketmaster or any of these clowns. Like, I
Dude,
want,
that would be amazing. That would be an awesome step in the right direction, in my opinion.
yeah. The truth is that I think to be smart about it, you kind of have to play the game to a certain point,
Of course.
so you get secure enough, and then you can kind of dissect yourself from some of these, like, you know, powerful entities. But like, yeah, to be able to sell, you know, all your art and kind of promote all your art through your own independent website, I feel like that's the move. And there are artists that are doing it right now. That's
It's
right. Owning your masters and owning as much of your work as you possibly can is super important.
That's incredibly important. I have to explain to people all the time how that works. I'm like, people are like, oh, so you have a little imprint. Like, do you own masters? I'm like, hell no, I don't own masters, dude. I'm like a stepping stone. That's what I consider myself. I'm just like a little platform, and I create physical media, and that's all I do. I don't have any rights to your stuff. I don't want it. I just go, oh, I like your band. I'll help you make it a piece of physical media. Like, that's exactly what I'm. Yeah,
Well,
own as much of your stuff as you can.
it is, you got to be smart about it, you know, because
Right.
there are opportunities that come up that sometimes it's worth it to sacrifice something like that in the short term for a longer term goal. You just got to make the choices that are right for you, you know. But yeah, that's definitely something in the future that I want to make um, a thing for us, is like ticket sales that go straight independently through us, and a little bit more freedom to do the type of shows I want to do, that like more all ages shows, you know, and sort of you know, eliminate the middleman as much as possible.
Right. Well, once you get your social media following to a certain size, like then you have the pool to be like, hey,
Yep.
like I know some artists like painters and screen printers and such, graffiti artists and such, and they sell things, and it's like I've never bought any of their stuff through anywhere but like their site, because they got to where they were so popular that that's what you do now. You go to their it's you know it's a chessboard, man. Social media is weird. Like you said, they could turn it off, which sucks. But if you can get that to a certain size, then you can depend on your own ecosystem. And then,
Yeah.
oh, it's exhausting to think about. But yeah, it's always doing that. What are the plans for any kind of shows outside of the East Coast? Do you have any touring plans or anything?
Yeah, we're gonna tour with the Casualties, which I'm real
Thank you.
stoked about.
Do shout out Casualties, Davey Tejas.
I love Dave. The other guys, some like Jake, he for a while he was living in the same hood as us. So we would see him like as kids, like roaming around, like, oh dude, that's the guy from the Casualties. Like we came up on that band. Like they're another one of those bands that like were super accessible and like always playing shows. So this will be our second time touring with them.
Nice.
But this one's like a longer run. That's the next tour, and then I think we have some other tours coming up in like February and March. Yeah, we're gonna be playing a lot of shows in the beginning of the new year, and yeah, you know, just keep building this album. Eventually, putting out an album. I'm like still very much someone who like appreciates the album. You know, singles are cool, and we do singles, but they're gonna build up to an album, and I'm stoked for the full product to be out there, so you can have the opportunity to listen to it in order, you know, as the story is meant to be told. All the videos have a linear kind of storytelling thing happening too. So like, I'm stoked for all that, because the creating and the performing is the most important, is the most fun for me.
Well, when I get to talk to people, it immediately makes me more interested in their music, which is one of the reasons I like doing it so much because I don't know. I'm not gonna. Just there's bands out there that are in this lane, but there are people that I didn't know much about at all, like smaller bands that hit me up, and I'm like, yeah, I love talking to people about music. So I'll talk to them, and I mean, I've put out music for bands that I met this way. It's crazy, man. I love that, and I mean, there's bands that I didn't really care for, but I go see them play live, and
Yeah,
it changes how I feel. That's another reason why the live show is so important. You may not even realize that you're gonna love this band until you see them play live, and then you're like, oh, I connected with the guitar player. I really like that dude just spoke to me, or the singer was really nice when I met him at the merch table, and then their songs were really insane live, but they have different versions on the album. And there's just many reasons to go see a live show.
yeah,
Many reasons.
totally, man. Like we're a completely different beast as a live band than we are in recording. To the
That's
point
awesome.
when the first time we toured with the Casualties, Jake, he like came up to us at the last or the second to last show, and he's like, I mean, we were friendly with him for forever, but I don't think at that point he ever really like actually like listened to what we were doing. You know, he's doing his own thing. He's in his own world. But he was cool with us. And then at the last show, he comes up because he actually watched our show that night, and he's like, "Whoa, man! Like, you guys are like punk." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. What the hell did you think we were doing this whole time?" But the
Dude,
recordings have a certain energy, but the live show is like that same energy maximized on crack. You know, it's like a completely different experience. Some bands, you know, they sound exactly how they sounded on the album
mm-hmm.
live. That's cool, and I respect that. But I actually don't really want to do that. I want it to be unique and special, and you know, um, more alive. You know, in the moment. I don't want to. I don't want to be too scripted, and that's the beauty of live music. That's why I like seeing bands. I kind of like being surprised. Uh,
Yeah. I was just talking about that with somebody about how when you buy an album, like if you're a really big fan of a band and they put out like an album with bonus stuff and it's like live recordings or bootlegs or demos, that's why we want that because it's going to have a different energy typically. It won't be just the same exact song sounds the same. It's like that's why I bought this, demos version record from Rancid because it sounds different. The songs are different and like same
yeah,
songs, different energy.
yeah, that it's so cool to hear those songs like in like a completely different like they're almost emotionally like in a completely different space, you know, than what you hear on the album.
That's awesome. I actually have been Pete from the Bouncing Souls has become an engineer that I have started to pay attention to because I'm starting to realize that he's working on a lot of albums with bands that I really like and people that I know personally. I didn't even know he was into that stuff until a couple years ago. That's pretty rad.
Pete's amazing. Yeah, we were just at his studio like last week.
That's cool, man. They're from up there where you're at. That's probably how you linked up with them, huh?
Yeah, something like that. I think I knew people that he knew, and then yeah, I just kind of someone suggested me to him or something like that. But yeah, like he he's an amazing engineer, and that band is dude, they're the goats. They're like one of the most important New Jersey bands of like all time.
I have a lot of great memories of the Bouncing Souls, man. Like a lot. Uh, I remember when I first really got it turned on to him, I had that CD. I think it was self-titled. It's got like the black cover with the yellow logo and soccer balls of the CD.
The soccer ball, yeah. I always
Bro, man, I wore that thing out, dude. I love that record. Record is
yeah,
so good.
that's an amazing album. Maniacal Laughter is great.
That's might be my favorite album by them. I don't know, dude. Anchors Away is probably their best. That album is pretty flawless. Like, it's just not really anything wrong with that album at all.
That's an incredible album
It's
too.
like when their sound kind of like I don't know if change is the right word. It like evolved a little bit with that album. Like that is a point where you can go, that is when their sound turned into more what they sound like now.
Yeah,
Before
totally.
that, they were like typically a little faster, but you know, you got to evolve.
Summer Vacation, I feel like is they kind of mastered that version of themselves.
Yeah.
And then they kind of had to move on. And then you got Anchors Away, which is
That's
like,
a good point.
it's the next evolution.
Yeah.
And I like when bands do that, you know, because even
Oh, absolutely.
like Rancid, right? Rancid could have put out another I'll Come the Wolves if they wanted to, but they didn't. They did Life Won't Wait, which is completely in the other direction. And like, I respect that. I think that's cool, you know?
Dude, that album is their magnum opus, dude. It's like, my friend calls it their London Calling, which I have to agree with that. It's such an eclectic sound. Like everything on there is just so. When I first heard it, I was so confused, bro. I was like, I don't know what's going on with this record, but I loved it. I loved it, man.
Great albums.
Oh,
Yep.
dude. So before we get out of here, man, this has been a good time. I appreciate you coming on, hanging out with me for a little while today, dude. This is nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you come down to Texas at all, I mean, I might see you elsewhere, but I for sure catch you if you come down to Texas.
Yes.
But is there anything that you want to talk about before we get out of here? Anybody you want to shout out? Any kind of stuff you want to put out there in the world?
Shout out to Pete, shout out to Tim, shout out to John Gentile. If you enjoy my music and you like what I do, I appreciate you. Thank you. And take care of each other and do your best out here. You know, I'm very grateful to be given the opportunity to do what I love and share it with everybody that's willing to listen. You know, so thanks for having me on your show. I
Dude,
appreciate it.
absolutely, man. It's been a pleasure, man. I can feel the passion. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, you've like invigorated me to get some work done today that maybe wouldn't have got done, or at least not in a timely manner. Like sometimes I'll be procrastinating, but man, Crazy in the Brains music gonna be in rotation on the streams, guys. You guys know we do that every Sunday, Wednesday, Friday night at 8:30. Links to the music and the social media will be in the description for Crazy in the Brain. So go check them out, support the bands, support your local music scene, whatever genre that is. Go out and watch live music. And like you said earlier, man, be nice to people, be kind. It doesn't take much effort.
Yes.
Otherwise, love you guys. See you in the next Punk Rock Review.
Peace.